How are we doing with Pickles here?
Right now it's not working.
We had a really good walk today.
Yeah.
Really good about it. She was healing when she did really well.
Okay.
Yeah, and she hasn't had any instances where she lunged at anybody or was aggressive towards any dogs, nothing.
She's been really good about that.
Okay.
Yeah, and I have to say I didn't practice the turns very much. I feel like
I did.
For her, but a lot of the walks we took, we didn't. I think the heel sometimes is hard for her. I mean, we work on it. You know what I mean? And so I feel like if I layer more stuff on, then I'm always layering more stuff on. So
what's difficult about the heel for her?
Well, she gets ahead of us.
Okay, and what's your number?
Right now it's 35.
35. So last time we were around 35, maybe 40, right?
Yeah, and we go up and down. This is not like, as you said, we're not married to a number.
Right.
I've had it up to 40. I've had it down in the 20s. So.
Okay. So what I would do at this point is, it's not that she's having a hard time.
Yes.
It's just not having the appropriate number.
Okay.
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 And looking at her collar here, that to me looks loose, which also affects the connection. So even though it's at 35, if it's fitted too loose,
I just put it on her too, so.
She could be feeling it at 15.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it feels too tight. If I'm right here, is that good or is that too? Hold on one second.
Sure.
Yeah. You want to go suggest it?
Come here, you. Oh, back this way. So here, see how this happens?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So rotate?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's too loose.
Okay, so how many knots? So what we really should do is mark this. I'm going to do it in the dark. Well, we'll get it on there and we'll mark it when we get home.
So this one, where I have it now, could potentially be one more snug. But I'm gonna leave it where it's at.
Okay, and we're gonna cut that off too.
Because we don't go by the collar itself. We go by the probes.
Okay? Oh, okay.
And because
that makes sense.
Where we have it fitted, it's in a pocket.
Okay.
Is sometimes it gets in that pocket and there's no connection, so it really has to be snug.
Okay.
If you put it here and it ends up here, it's definitely too loose.
Okay. That's good to know.
Also the reason for the snugness is because she does have fur, so it acts as a buffer.
Right.
But then also, if it's too loose, even though 35, 40 was working really well that one day, another day, if there's no contact,
right?
Yeah.
She won't get the benefit.
So what I would do is, if you've noticed on your walks when you hit, for example, 35 to 40 range, if you're like, that's when she's really good, then you can just start your walks at 35, 40.
Okay.
Because that's telling me that's her range.
That's her range. Yeah, exactly. That makes sense. Yeah.
So definitely when you get home tonight, mark that notch.
Okay.
So we get consistency, and as long as she's not right, it's fine. Yeah. Anything else?
No, she's just doing so well. We're going to keep working on the heel, obviously, and I think with some consistency with the snugness of the collar and the number, we're probably going to be, as you said, it'll just be more quickly successful.
It's at this point, it should be like, wow. It really was just a number.
Okay.
Because dogs get the concept very easily.
Yeah.
It's just walk right here.
Yeah.
Right.
When she's on heel, for the most part, today she was really good about it. I barely had to use the thing at all.
Okay. Good. Yeah. So then we'll just address that. Okay.
Okay.
Anything else?
No, not right now.
Okay.
And I haven't. We really haven't been having her wear it at home very much.
You don't need
to, yeah, okay.
It's only when you need it.
Okay, but so if there's a dog across the hall, I think she likes him. She sometimes acts like she doesn't, but I think she comes off so strong because she barks at him, and so he backs off. can I use it to stop her from barking at him, or should I not do that?
Yeah. Like, is this on the leash or is this in the house, or?
Just when he's out in the hall, like she can hear him. And then when they see each other, she gets really excited and barks and kind of growls and jumps around. I think she wants to play. He's an older dog, and he backs off, and then she goes, she's more likely to, she's more, assertive.
So yes, you can use the e-collar to correct her.
Okay.
You can also probably use a bonker. Because you're not going to be able to time when he's out and stuff, right?
Right.
Like
no.
Okay, but if you do see him, it's because you're out with her getting ready to go for a walk.
Exactly.
Oh, okay. So then the collar would be on.
Yeah. Right. Or sometimes it's just when she hears him in the hall.
Sure.
It's
inside.
just this. Her response is to get very excited, and it doesn't always come off as nice.
Right.
So.
With reactivity, reactivity can be aggressive, or it can be like the dog throwing a tantrum.
Right.
So when she's on the e-collar, you can use it to correct her. Don't be surprised, like with the incident last week, you're at the 70s or something, I think it was. Don't be surprised if you're that high to stop that behavior.
Okay.
And then the other thing would be if it's inside the home, I would probably just use the bonker, which is a rolled up towel. And you use like rubber bands or hair bands to keep its shape, and you use it to bonk the dog. Okay. So it's the correction when you don't have the e-collar.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
And I have 3 videos that I send people to watch: how to make one, how to use one, and a trainer actively using one.
Okay.
So you can see it, and that'll explain itself.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, that'd be great. Then we can understand what to do.
Yeah. So when it comes to the reactivity in the hallway,
well, if she's in the hall, she's going to have the collar on.
Correct.
So that's the good news.
Is the moment you see her start to just even the ears perk up, that's when you want to start. You don't want to wait for her to already be full-blown reactive.
Yes, we were walking this morning, and she hates motorcycles, especially like Harleys,
Yeah.
And we were coming down the street, and it was perfect timing. There was a guy getting on one and just getting ready to start it, and that just usually just drives her insane. So she saw it, she started to react, and I hit her, and she started reacting. I hit her again, and she just didn't do anything. It was great.
Did you see her go into like a more passive state, or did she stay kind of like?
She was more passive.
Okay, good. Yeah. That's because sometimes the dog will escalate and the owner will cap it, but the dog stays kind of intense.
Yeah.
Right.
That you want to, as best you can, always shut it down to as calm as possible.
Yeah, it was amazing. She calmed down.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. Anything else?
No.
I don't think so. I mean, so far, those are kind of the main questions.
I mean, the stick eating and all that has been like almost non-existent.
Entirely
It's
gone.
great.
Yeah. Yep. Good. So what we're going to work on today is come when called.
Great.
Does that work for you?
Yes.
Okay. Now, I have a long leash for us to use. Do you happen to have a long leash yourself?
We've got like a 30-foot rope.
Okay. Yeah.
With a thing on it.
Yeah. So you can use that. But we'll. Do you have yours or
no?
Okay.
No, I didn't know we were doing it. Sorry.
No, you're fine. So 30 feet, in my opinion, is the perfect length.
Okay, good.
Because it's pretty realistic in the sense of like how far the dog will be.
Right, exactly.
I'm going to show you a couple of things here with using the long leash. So, which hand do you hold your remote in?
Usually the left.
The left, and which hand do you hold your remote in?
I usually hold it in the right because I walk her on the left side, so I hold the leash in my left hand.
True. Yeah, I do.
Okay. So, wherever your remote's going to be, you want to have the handle of your leash over that particular thumb. Okay. So if you have the remote in your right hand, you're going to have your leash over your right thumb. You have the remotes in your left hand, the remote's going to be over your left thumb.
Just over your thumb, is that what you're doing?
Correct.
Okay.
Okay. So it would be like this, and then I have my remote, and these fingers are free, and then I drape the leash over my left hand if we're doing right hand remote, like this. So when Pickle is moving towards you, when we need to reel in the leash, I use these 3 fingers here to just throw it on the ground.
You still have it hooked to your thumb.
Correct, right? So the reason for the thumb is in case Pickle decides to run off. If you get caught holding the leash like this, it's going to be bad. I let that go because it's locked around my thumb, okay? So here, she should not be able to pull that leash out my thumb, and it might jolt you a little bit, but she should not rip it out, okay? If you have it like this, that's going to happen. If you have it around your wrist, a lot of times it slips over the wrist, okay? So over the thumb, and then when I'm reeling in the leash, what I'll do is once I'm done, I'll take my hand, go over my finger like this, and then close it. Okay, so it does the same thing.
It's like a
lock.
Yes, same thing here, right? So anytime you're with Pickle, once you decide to stop reeling in the leash, you just lock it. Okay, so this way if she does book it, again, she might jolt you, but she's not going to feed that leash through and burn your hand. Otherwise, if you're not ready, you let that go. You have this here as a secondary. Okay? So with this here, it might be, if you want to remove your poop bag holder. So because it's going to be dragging, this way it doesn't break off. And I'll have you clip this leash here to the same ring as the leash that you have on there.
Got it.
All right. So who's going to do the first batch of recalls? You? All right. So then.
I need this. Do I hold on to the short leash?
You'll be holding onto the long leash.
I let the short leash just go, right?
So then you'll take this, and then I'll have you hold the short leash, please. So the reason why we have two leashes here is because at some point Pickle might get savvy to the exercise. So then she's going to prematurely start running between the both of you. Okay. So having that second leash is so that the other handler can keep her with them to prevent that from happening. Okay.
Will you show me again what I'm doing with this hand?
Yeah. So with your 3 fingers, right? So go ahead and move in a little bit.
Yep. Got 3 fingers here.
And then, so you would just be feeding the excess leash and throwing it on the ground. Okay. So don't worry about like trying to hold it. You just throw it on the ground. Then once you're done, go ahead and open up your hand with the leash laying over that pointer finger. And then you're going to wrap your fingers around that. Almost. So it's going to drape over. You're going to close like this. Like that. Perfect.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, that makes sense. I just couldn't.
It's okay.
Visualize it.
So then, whenever you stop reeling in the leash, just real quick, do that. Okay.
And I've got just have this over my thumb like that, right?
Correct.
With the remote in my hand.
Correct.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay. So I find that to be the easiest way to like. There's no clutter in your hands. It's real easy to throw on the ground. And don't worry about getting all the leash up. It's just you're just shortening it. So in case Pickle makes a mistake, she's not going to have 30 feet. She's only going to have 15 feet or 10 feet.
A little less momentum.
Exactly. So the next thing here is we want to pair the e-collar to the recall. So we're not going to use cum, even if she does know what cum means, okay? Is what we're going to do. We're going, you're at 35?
26.
26? That's fine. Because we're going to teach something new, so we always go down lower. So 26, 25 is fine. And if you start to, like, where you have your leash right now, right? Go ahead and just pull it a little bit. Okay. So do you feel how you get, like, some tension on there, right? So pull a little bit more. Keep pulling. Like right there. You see how there's like a little bit of tension? What we're trying to do is matching that tension and timing it with the tapping, okay? So what's going to happen is you're gonna go back right where you'd be at the end of the leash. You put a little bit of tension on that collar, and you would start tapping. Once we see Pickle start moving towards you, you would drop the leash. You would then move backwards and reel in that leash, throwing it on the ground, and you also stop tapping. Okay, so you're only tapping to start the movement towards you. Very important that you're moving backwards. Okay. And the rest I'll coach you through. It's a lot of stuff to remember. Everybody screws it up in the beginning, but once you do a few reps, you start to get the pattern down. It's a lot easier. Okay. So let me go ahead and have you.
You want me to go to the end of the leash?
We can start with that. Okay. So go ahead and keep Pickle still right there, and then you're going to start to put some tension and tap, 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 tap. Good. Now backwards. Tap, tap, tap. Good. Keep backwards. And start to reel in your leash. There you go. Good. Now wait right there. And raise.
Good job, Pickle. Good job. Good job.
Right. Good. Repeat that one more time. And let's go ahead and go to like 30.
Okay.
Pickles, come here. Come on.
You got it, you got it.
That's my girl. That's my good girl.
Yeah, gonna watch your legs there.
Get her undone.
Alrighty. Try it again. Some tension. Tap, tap, tap. Good. And go ahead and wait right there. Feeling the leash. That's good right there. Wait a moment. And praise. Good girl. And break. Good one. Do 3 more. Yep.
You got it. Go, go, go. Got it, girl.
Good. And tap, tap. Good. And wait right there. And praise. Got a girl. Good. And break. Good one. 2 more. Good girl. Good.
She's a lot more coordinated than I am.
You're doing good. You're getting all the pieces together. And pull, tap, tap, tap. Good. And wait right there. And praise. And girl. Good job. And break. Good. 1 more.
Look at her.
Tap, tap, good. Good, girl. Good. Now what we're going to do is we're going to switch it up.
Okay.
We're going to do the same pattern, or I'm sorry, the same thing, but now you're going to start tapping first before you pull. Okay? So you're going to be ready to pull. You're going to tap at least 2 to 3 times. If Pickle doesn't respond, you're going to keep tapping and then add in the leash pressure.
Okay. Oh, can I just go this way?
Excuse me?
Oh, never mind. She's going that way. You got it. You got it.
There we go. Yep. And when you're ready, tap, tap, tap. Now backwards. Good. 1, 2, 3. That's good. Wait right there. And praise. Good girl. Good. And break 4 more. Then we'll swap handlers.
You're okay. I got it.
tap, tap, tap. Now pull and back. 1, 2, 3. That's good right there. And praise that girl. Good. 3 more.
Pardon?
3 more.
3 more?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
Tap.
Oh, wait 1
tap.
second, I haven't started yet. Okay.
Oh.
Okay.
Uh-oh. Good. 2 more.
Okay. Here you go, love. Give me this, please.
Good. Tap, tap. Now backwards. 1, 2, 3. That's good. And praise that girl. 1 more, then we'll swap. Good. Tap, tap, tap. Now backwards. 1, 2, 3. That's good. And praise. And a girl. Very good. Just go and swap handlers.
You ready, love?
She's like getting out of here.
Yeah.
Alright.
It's okay. We'll leave it like that. We'll use that distraction. So we're going to go back a step. You're going to go to the pulling timed with the tapping, okay?
Okay.
And pull, tap, tap. Yep, pull, pull. Yep, tap, tap. Now backwards. 1, 2, 3. That's good. Now here, wait a moment. Tap, backwards. 1 step, that's good. Wait right there. 1 more tap. Tap, tap, tap. Right, good. Wait a moment. Tap, tap. See what she does. Now praise. Add a girl. Good job. Good. And break. Good. We're going to do 4 more. Watch your legs right there.
Wait, 1 second. Randy.
Good. Full tap, tap. Good. Now back. 1, 2, 3. Good. Now reel your leash. Back, tap, 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 tap. Good. Hold right there. And praise. That is
Good
job.
girl, Pickle. That's a good girl.
Good. And break.
Break.
Good. 3 more.
There she goes.
Come on, old girl.
There you go.
Come on, Pickle. Come on. Come on.
Good. And pull. Tap, 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 tap. And back. Tap, tap. Good. Reel in your leash. Yeah. And tap, tap. Good. And hold right there. Now turn the face, tap, Pickle. Now move backwards, tap, tap. Good. Hold right there. Turn the face, Pickle, and back. There you go. Hold right there. And praise. Atta girl. Good job. Good. And break one more, then we'll move to the next step. There she goes, atta girl. And praise.
Good girl.
Good.
Good girl.
So now we're going to move to that next step where you're going to tap first, at least 2 to 3 times, and then pull if needed.
Oh, that's right.
So yeah, we'll hold until you start to tap, back, tap. Now pray.
Good girl, Pickle. That's a good
Sorry,
girl.
I thought you'd already started, so I was behind.
Good, and break. Break.
It's so weird, it's like she already knows how to do it. It's like she already knows how to do it, you know?
So yeah, well there's like familiarity just from like if you've tried calling her before.
Yeah.
You know, that just like coming to. But now we're putting it, the reason why I don't say come right now is because I want to make sure it is the e-collar that's triggering her to return to you. And tap, tap. Yep, good. Now back. 1, 2, 3, that's good. Hold right there. And praise.
Good girl, Pickle. Good girl.
Good. We'll do 3 more, then we'll give her a break.
Break.
Go.
Good, Pickle.
Yeah, right. Tell me when you're doing it.
Go like that.
Tap, tap. Good, now back. 1, 2, 3, that's good. Good, now
girl,
praise,
Pickle.
girl.
Good girl. Good girl.
Good, and break 2 more.
Ready?
That's good. Back 1, 2, 3, that's good. Atta girl.
Good girl,
Good
Pickle.
job. And last one.
Ready?
Tap, tap. There you go. Good. Now back. 1, 2, 3. Good. Tap. Turn the face of the Pickle. Now move backwards. Tap, tap. Good. And hold right there. And praise. Atta girl. Very good. So let her rest for a moment. So the reason for the moving the backwards is to give Pickle something to attach to.
Okay.
Okay.
That's a good.
So most people, when they call their dog, they're like, come, and they're standing there, and the dog looks at them and goes, what? Just keeps playing. But as soon as you start walking, most dogs will start just going to follow.
That's interesting.
So the reason why we want to face Pickle is I don't like calling a dog and not knowing if they're actively coming.
Okay.
So I want to keep my eyes on my dog, but moving backwards to give her something to attach to. Okay. So if Pickle overshot it, we would turn, face Pickle, start remoting, and then be back again to draw her to you.
Okay, that makes sense.
So I never move to the dog. I always make them move to me 100% of the way.
Okay.
So sometimes the dog will like land off like that, and then the person will go over and like good dog. But what ends up happening is they end up slowing down here, and then they'll shoot off.
Yeah.
Okay, so I
You
make them
don't want
turn
that.
100% of the way. I don't care where they land specifically. I just care that they're in my immediate space. Okay, so right, left, front, back.
It doesn't matter. Just so you know they're with you.
Exactly,
Yeah,
right?
gotcha.
So I want them 100% of the way. So even if it's just 2 feet away, I will make them complete that last little bit.
Well, yeah, because they can still get away from 2 feet away.
Correct.
Yeah.
So now what we're going to do is we're going to use the word come. I typically tend to do name first, then the come.
Okay.
So Pickle, come.
Yeah.
We do want to use higher notes or up notes.
Yeah.
Pickle, come, because higher pitch carries better over sound.
Okay.
Okay, so if you go Pickle, come, like that low, it's not going to carry it when you got a lot of stuff going on.
Okay.
So you want to have a nice up note pitch. And once you cue that, so it's going to be Pickle, come, tap, tap, moving backwards with the pull that's needed. Okay? So now we're going to start tying these things together. If you call Pickle and she starts to move towards you, you will still tap at least once. Okay? So we're going to do this for the first few weeks. Every time you practice Pickle, come, it's always going to be followed by a tap to condition her that
That's okay.
it's good. Yeah, exactly. Okay? So we can switch or keep same handler, completely up to you.
Okay.
Oh, motorcycle. I say I should sprinkle a tiny bit, but
Yeah, but that's...
Oh my gosh.
She would have wedged through that fence. Okay.
all right. So everything stays the same, except now we have the word come that precedes all that stuff.
Pickle, come.
Okay, good. Now back. 1, 2, 3. That's good. And praise that girl.
Pickle.
Good. We're going to do that 4 more times. Go. Wait a moment. Wait. Yep.
Pickle, come.
Yep. Good. Back tap. Good. And hold right there. Now tap. Yep. Good move. Tap. Back. Tap. 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 Good. Hold right there. And a girl. In praise. Good job.
Girl, Pickle.
Good. And break. Good. 3 more.
Pickle, come.
Good. Come. Yep. And 1, 2, 3. Hold right there. Excellent. And praise. That girl.
Good girl. That's the best one
Good
yet.
job. 2 more.
That was a good one.
There we go. Okay.
Pickle, come.
Good. 1, 2, 3. Good. Good. Turn the face backwards. And tap. Good. Hold right there. Tap. Add a girl praying. Good job. Let's go and swap handlers. And we're at 35 right now. $35? 31. Let's bump it. Let's go 35. Good. Repeat that same process. Name first, then tapping, then pull if needed.
Okay. Pickle, come.
Tap. Now back. 1, 2, 3. That's good. Hold right there. And praise that a girl.
That's a good girl. Yeah. Good girl.
Good. Break.
Break.
Good. 4 more. Yeah.
Pickle, come.
Good. And back. 1, 2, 3. That's good. And a girl.
Yes, good girl. Such a good girl.
Good.
Such a
3
good
more.
girl.
Break.
That's the one.
Got it. And back. 1, 2, 3. Good. Nice little trot there. Add a girl. Pray.
Good girl.
2 more.
Come, Pickle.
Tap back. Good. 1, 2, 3. Good.
I lost the end of it.
There you go. And
Good
break.
girl. Such a good girl.
Good. And
Okay.
1 more, then we'll give her a little break.
Here, here. What do I do now?
Put it, grab her again. Because she's already, this is, remember earlier I was like, she'll assume, right?
Yeah. Okay. Pickle, come.
That's good. There you go. Yeah, that's a good one. And back. 1, 2, 3. That's good right there. Add a girl pickle. And great.
Good girl. Such a good girl. Let's
Good.
go. That's
So
great.
give her a little moment there. So, questions so far about this?
No, this
One
makes
thing I
sense.
did want to ask you is, we've got a big garage. Can we do this in there?
You can.
Okay.
So, the way we're practicing right now is not realistic, right?
Right.
Like, no one's going to be holding pickles for you, waiting for you to call it.
Right.
But we do this to teach the foundation of it.
Yeah.
Because, like, earlier, like, let's say you did say Pickles come and she came to you.
Yeah.
Like, it's good, but, like, it doesn't allow you to layer in the remote.
Right.
So that's why we did it the way I did it with no words and just the remoting and
Yeah.
the movement.
Yeah.
And then we brought in the word afterwards.
No, that's good.
So,
But we could practice that inside, like
correct,
in the garage.
yeah. So you can practice this in the garage.
Okay.
And what I do is, like, let's say it's, like, really cold, but you still want to practice, you work in the garage.
Yeah.
But, like, let's say it's another nice day like this.
Yeah, we've got a lot of nice
Well,
days
come
coming
up
up.
here.
You could bring her here, bring her to another part.
Yeah.
You put her on your long leash.
Yes.
You let her be free, and I just hold on to the end of the leash,
Yeah.
and I just wander the park with Pickles. Okay.
Okay.
And does she have prey drive, like squirrels or anything like that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So I like to use that stuff to my advantage.
Okay.
So like, let's say, there's like a tree with squirrels here, or even that one. Is I'll let her go and bark at the squirrels, whatever.
Yeah.
And I'll just hang back and
Let
let her have
do her
fun.
thing. Yeah.
And then maybe 5 minutes in, Pickles come back, tap, tap, tap.
So you're working with reality.
Correct.
Yeah, so
Okay.
just start introducing, so nobody's on the other end. She's just learning to
Being
come.
free, yeah. So then once I call her,
Well, no, we would still be holding the long leash.
correct, yes.
Right, somebody's holding the long leash, what I'm saying is nobody's on the other end.
Correct,
Right,
yeah. You instead of somebody holding her, it's a distraction.
Yeah, exactly.
And once I call her and she arrives, I like to wait a little bit because sometimes if the dog's really got good prey drive, they'll prematurely run off to go back to the squirrel.
Okay.
So I don't call them. I simply start remoting and move backwards again to correct them to stick to me.
Okay.
So like when you're calling Pickles, at the end of each recall, you were saying Pickles break, right? So the come when called is when I call you, you come to me and you stay with me until I release you.
Okay.
Okay. So this is to prevent, like I say, she's playing with other dogs. That you call her and she preemptively breaks away.
Right.
She's supposed to stick to you.
Yeah.
Okay.
That makes sense. Yeah.
So I like to use those things to my advantage, and I'll wait a little bit, and then you can say break and let it go right back to chasing squirrels again.
That's right.
Okay. So you have a reward and a distraction at the same time.
That's good.
Now,
that makes sense.
you can also do the recall different times. You can do it as she's running to the squirrels, as she's barking at the squirrels already there, or as like right when she gets there.
Yeah.
So you're changing up where you're calling her.
Right.
Okay.
Because you want to be able to have the control in as many situations as possible.
Correct.
Yeah.
And the main one I like to people to practice is when the dog is actively moving away from you, because typically when people use the recall, they're running away, they're chasing something, or they're running after something they shouldn't, like the street. Right. It's almost running always away.
Yeah.
So I like to practice with things like that. So
That's
if the dog's chasing after geese, as they're in pursuit, I'll throw in a recall and then practice with that.
That's good. Okay. That makes sense.
Now, when you practice, so we have practicing as a couple and then practicing solo, right?
Yeah.
Is if you're practicing solo, you do have to be mindful of how much you drill this. If you practice too much, like with the squirrels and stuff, she won't leave your side.
Okay.
Because she's going to think you're just going to call me 100 times.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah. No, that makes sense. Yeah.
So what I do is if you're working solo with realistic things, I vary the number of times I call her.
Okay.
So I could go out and have a nice long 30-minute long leash session with her, but I only call her once at the very end.
That's great.
Okay?
Yeah, that makes sense.
And then the next time I might call her 5 times.
During
the next time 2 times, exactly. You're just varying it so she doesn't.
So she's not like this the whole time.
Correct.
Yeah.
Like right now we have to do it because we have to teach and everything.
Yeah.
Now if you're working together, it doesn't matter because you can force the.
Right. You can pull her away.
Yeah, exactly. You can make that happen.
Okay.
So your training is only as good as the environment you practice in. So like if you only practice here at Travis, she'll be great here. But then anywhere else, it's going to be like sloppy, right?
Or you can go to Oz Park too. I mean, there's
Oz Park, you go to Lakefront, right? You can use all those things to your advantage.
Yeah, exactly.
The more you practice, the more you expose yourself to things happening. So like, like let's say I've had clients working at Oz and like somebody's off-leash dog will just run into the training session.
Yeah.
And it sucks, but then I'm like, well, now you have something you can use.
Work with,
You've been exposed to it, right?
Yeah.
Let's say you want to practice with her playing with other dogs. You'd want to build to that, right?
Okay.
So I wouldn't bring her here with like 6 other dogs.
Okay.
I would do like maybe if there's 1 other dog.
Okay.
So there's like Nash and the 2 Winnies and there's Luna. There's a bunch of dogs that I've worked with here, right?
Yeah.
And she would be on her leash because you're going to need something in case she gets confused or anything to be able to force the return because you can actively help her. Okay.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
the long leash is a part of the training for the recall for quite a bit. Okay.
That's fine. Yeah.
So recall takes the longest to teach because it requires you to go somewhere and you can only practice so many times.
Yeah.
Like the heel doesn't matter because it's just we're walking.
You're walking.
Right?
It doesn't matter.
And you walk 3 times a day at least, if not more.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but this, you have to go somewhere, have your long leash, have something to work with. So this is going to take the longest. Okay?
That's okay.
So there's no rush. Always take your time.
Yeah.
The reason why we tap every single time we call Pickle in the beginning is if you call her and she responds, right? She's coming to you, and you tap her too late. What do you think's going to happen?
It's going to be a distraction.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's gonna, you're gonna push her away from it.
Yeah.
She's gonna think, oh, this must have been wrong. I'm gonna go the other way.
Yeah.
So I purposely do that because I want to force that problem while she's on the leash though. Right? So if I call her and I mistap her and she goes, oops, wrong thing, and she runs away, I keep tapping, and now I can pull her to direct her towards me to proof that. Okay?
Yeah.
So that's why at this stage of training, we always tap after a recall. At some point you're gonna mess up and tap too late. It's okay.
Right.
That's part of the process.
Right.
Okay, so that in the future, when she's off leash, if I mistap or anything, I'm not worried about is she gonna get confused. It's always gonna mean
she's
her turn. Yeah, if anything, it'll speed her up.
Right.
Okay. Questions about any of this?
No, it gives us something good to practice. I'm excited.
Good.
Yeah. I mean, recall's super important.
Yeah. Exactly. It's so important.
Another thing that you can do to make it more realistic is, let's say she's doing great with this, right? It's easy peasy.
Yeah.
But you don't have any scrolls to work with or anything like that. Is if you're working together, one person at the end of the long leash, you would start to get like next to each other, and then whoever has the short leash starts to move away with Pickle. Okay, so that one person's hanging back, and you would do a recall.
Yeah.
So you're recreating movement away.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
And we start with walking first. I don't say heel here. Don't say heel and walk. Just walk with Pickle. Okay. And then you would call her randomly during that walk away.
Okay. And then Randy would just let go of the leash when I started
Exactly.
Okay.
And then if you find she gets really good at that, then the next step would be like we run with Pickle.
Okay.
Okay. And then we do the recall during the run.
Oh, that's a good idea.
But when we're doing that though, you incorporate the tap, right? As soon as she says here, she'll tap.
Correct. Yeah. And then we keep tapping.
You would drop the leash.
Yes.
Correct. And you keep tapping until you either create the turn or the tension kicks in and turns her.
Okay.
Ideally, you're trying to get Pickle to actively turn on her own.
Without the tension.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
Because if she's like chasing after a squirrel and I go Pickle come, I'm wanting her to just turn around immediately. Okay. So we'll try a couple of those right now just to kind of show you how it works.
Okay.
So Julie, you have the end of the long leash, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So now I'll have you take the short leash.
Okay, here we go. You get this. Randy gets the short leash.
Yeah. And then you have the end of the long leash, just like you were in the beginning.
I got it. Get my arm right here.
And what I suggest as well is that you walk together just to give yourself a bit more distance. Because if you always call Pickle like 15 feet in, she's going to start catching that pattern and preemptively turning around, expecting you to call her at 15 feet. But if you start with each other walking, and then all of a sudden you stop and allow him to go off, you can add a bit more distance to that.
Okay,
Good, then hang back. Now call. Yep, tap back, good. 1, 2, 3. Hold right there. Good, and praise. Try that 2 more times. Yep, and back. 1, 2, 3. Tap back. Good. Tap back. Good. Hold right there. Good. So every time she turned to look back, we were tapping to redirect her to get her to just to focus back on you. Okay? We're gonna try.
That was good. It doesn't get practice.
A little distracted there. Good. Try one more. Praise and a girl.
Good girl. That's a good girl.
Right. So this would be the next step.
Okay.
So I would practice like we were today a little bit more.
Yeah.
But this is just to give you an idea of like if she's doing really well, you can start pushing towards the next thing.
Okay.
Okay. Now,
Okay.
when Pickle arrives, it's kind of like the heel where we get that auto sit. Okay.
Yeah.
But it doesn't. It's not anywhere specific. Just within that immediate
just
space.
like something right by me.
Correct.
Right by us. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you do the recall,
Yes.
do remember to give her a break once it's done.
Okay.
Okay. Because
Okay.
now there's the off switch. The on switch is, hey, I called you, get over here. And then once that's done, you go
Gotcha.
break.
Okay.
Now you're free to do whatever you want.
Okay. Gotcha.
If you find that Pickle does start to hover around you, she's a little cautious, she doesn't want to run off.
Yeah.
It's a good thing because that's actually what prevents dogs from running away, is now she has rules and boundaries.
Yeah.
Okay?
That makes sense.
However, the con is, well, if you're trying to practice recall, you can't get her away from you.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So then what I do is, if you notice she's a little bit too paranoid, is when you go to the park, it's just go there and have her on a long leash, give her the freedom, whether or not she takes it, and just meander.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Whatever you do, don't try to coax her. Don't say,
Okay.
go Pickle, go play.
No. That's
Because it's going to draw her more to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you might walk for 30 minutes, and Pickle's just like by her side and stuff.
Yeah.
And then I ignore that, and I leash her up. I don't do any recall. I just go home.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we keep repeating that because you're trying to build comfort, right? Where
That
she's
makes
like,
sense.
oh, I can be free again.
Right.
And if you start to see her get comfortable and move away from you, don't immediately go into a recall.
Right. You want to. Yeah. Exactly.
Because you got to
That
give her
makes
time
sense.
to go,
Yeah.
become relaxed. And then after a few days where it's like, oh yeah, she's real easy like to walk away now. Then I implement it very little by little recalls here and there.
Okay.
Because we're trying to balance it out.
Yes. No, that
Right.
makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Which
yeah.
is another reason why recall takes longer, because it's either you got to go somewhere to practice, or the dog won't leave your side.
Yeah, I understand.
You know, there's a number of things like that. Does she have any like ball drive or anything like? Does she like? Okay.
Yeah.
So another thing you can do is if you find that she's having trouble with that, with the moving away, is just telling her break and throwing the ball around, just to get her used to like relax and like
just
running around.
Just
stuff.
so she realizes that she still can do that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That she can be free,
That's
and then
good.
when she's relaxed, you can throw in a recall.
Gotcha.
In the beginning, I don't do recall during fetch because if you do that too much, then she's gonna try to chase it and then run back to you before she even gets to the ball.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So they'll pick up on patterns really quickly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anything else?
No, this is great. I'm really excited to practice this.
Good.
Yeah.
So-
this is good.
Your homework for this week is just to start applying this.
Okay.
So if you walk to the park, you have your long leash in your pocket.
Yep.
You get there, you swap your leashes out, Pickle break, hold on to the end of your leash, and just like let her wander around, be a dog.
Yeah.
There's no need to like drill it out. Just like let her be free.
Okay.
If you see opportunities like squirrels, and when like they do the squirrel stuff, I like to let them really get into it. Because the longer she's involved with like barking and chasing the squirrels, the more disconnected she gets from you.
Right.
That's a good point.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it could be 3 minutes in one time, and the next time it's 8 minutes in.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Because I want her to forget about me, and then it's like, nope, I'm still here. Get over here.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Okay. That's a good
So
point.
yeah, little things like that.
Yep.
And then because we're trying to build to a realistic context where something's gonna be going on,
Yep.
and you need to be able to get her to return.
That makes
Okay.
sense.
Awesome.
That's good.
Great.
All right.
great.
Good job, guys.
Okay. Thank you, Jesse.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Did such a good job, good girl. What's it supposed to be like next week? Do we know?
I just looked, and this week I think it's like all 60s.
Yeah. This week's gorgeous.
Yeah, next week I think.